Hi there, I'm Claire Turner and welcome to my channel. I'm a nutritional therapist and mindfulness coach, and in today's video I'm going to be giving you my top 10 tips on how to eat more mindfully every day. So mindful eating is about being in the moment, really paying attention to everything that we are eating and not letting distractions take our awareness away from that food. It's about being fully focused on our eating experiences and body sensations. Mindful eating can lead to a much greater awareness of why and how we are actually eating. Now, it's a great way to build up the most positive relationship with food, which will in turn lead to a greater psychological well-being and enjoyment of anything and everything that we're eating. Now, mindful eating can be done in any time, any place, anywhere. It just takes practice. So now I'm going to dive straight on into the tips. So tip number one is sit down on a chair up to a table. Now, we've all been in that situation where we've had a plate of food on a tray on our lap, but not only is this not great for your digestive system, you're not going to get the greatest enjoyment out of that food because you're going to have a lot of distractions around you. It's probably going to be in the same room as the television, so you're going to have that distraction and you're not going to be fully absorbed into that meal. So make sure that you're sat down at a table and you'll get the most enjoyment out of that food. Tip number two is turn off all your devices, or at least have them out of the way. So make sure there's no phone, no laptop, no anything around where you are eating. Ensure that all of your focus is on that food and you're not getting distracted by anything like that. Tip number three is clear your mind, take a few moments and really appreciate that food that you see there in front of you. Think of all the hard work that's gone into producing that food. Practice gratitude for it, and I promise you'll get the very best experience out of that food. Tip number four is eat slowly. Ensure that you don't rush. Make sure that you're making an experience out of that meal. Make sure that you're chewing around 30 times per mouthful. Now, obviously, if you're eating something soft like mashed potato, you're not going to chew that many times. It's going to be more like 5 to 10 times. But for everything else, chew around 30 times to ensure that you are eating at a really nice speed and you're not eating too quickly and not really noticing everything that you're eating. Tip number five is focus on how that food is making you feel. Really making experience out of it. Is it making you feel happy, excited, energetic? Now, you're much more likely to notice when you're actually full up, when you're really focusing on how it's actually making you feel. Tip number six is serve out your portion and don't go back for seconds. Now, seconds are such a dangerous habit to get into because we never really know exactly how much we're eating when we have seconds. So serve out your portion of food and ensure that that's what you're eating. Now, another thing you can do is try the 80-20 rule. Now, eat 80% of the food that you have in front of you, then leave it 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, if you find that you're still hungry, finish the rest of the meal. But you may find that at that 80%, that is actually enough for you. So this is a really nice habit to get into, to actually understand how much you should be eating and how much will satisfy you. So it's a really nice way to try and find that out. Tip number seven, make sure you use your 5 wonderful senses. Think about the aroma, think about the texture, think about the flavor, think about how it tastes, what can you smell? Think about all those lovely senses and things that you notice. Be fully absorbed into that meal so that you get the very best experience out of it. Tip number 8, think about the flavors that you recognize in that meal. Is it bitter, salty, sweet, sour? The different parts of the meal that have got different flavors. Really be fully absorbed into what you're eating and really notice those beautiful flavors that are coming out. Tip number 9, think about the texture of the meal. Is it creamy, crunchy? Is it soft? Is it dry? Is it hard? Think about all those beautiful textures and how many different textures there are on that plate. Tip number 10, and this is probably my favorite tip of all of them. It's the one that I find the most beneficial, and that's to put down your knife and fork or spoon between each mouthful. Now, this is a great way to slow down the pace in which you are eating. And if you are someone that recognizes yourself as quite a fast-paced eater, this is going to be particularly beneficial for you. By putting down your knife and fork between each mouthful, you are really going to slow down the pace in which you are eating. And you're really going to notice, as I said, all those lovely textures and flavors and smells of that food. And you're going to really appreciate every mouthful that you're eating and not eat too quickly. So that brings me to the end of the video. I really hope you found this really interesting, informative and helpful. I hope that you're going to adopt some of these mindful eating techniques into your daily daily lifestyle. Mindful eating is such a great passion of mine. It's a habit that I think that we all need to get into and practice as much as we possibly can. This will give us the best relationship with food, we'll get the most enjoyment out of our food, and it will just be such a lovely experience every time that we eat. If you've enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. It really helps my channel. I'll be making lots more videos on mindful eating, and I will see you again in my next video. Thanks then guys, bye!